So let's say you're opening your own online store for something like specialty cat accessories, and you want to be able to keep track of all sorts of information surrounding your sales. Most people would just open a spreadsheet and start putting in things as orders come in. Maybe it looked like this. Mary's our customer, she buys a cat leash, and you capture all this information. And you just record this information for each of your customers that trickle in. But maybe later Mary buys something else, like 3 cat leashes, and at this point she's moved to a bigger place to have room for all her cats, so her address is different. Now you've got redundant information, some contradicting values for your customer's address, and if your specialty cat store got enormously popular, these issues would just escalate. Mary calls to ask about one of her orders, and when you pull up her information, you get 3 different addresses, all these disorganized orders, and you're not even sure you're looking at the correct customer because there are 3 different Mary Johnsons in your spreadsheet. You could see how this might lead to a messy situation. Shipments could get sent to the wrong place, customers might get mixed up, and the wrong products could get sent to the wrong people. So how would you resolve this? Instead of having just one massive spreadsheet, you'd separate the information into different bite-sized tables. So with our cat store, for example, you might start by creating a table that lists all of your customers, and then a separate table that lists out all your products, and then another table that records each of your orders. This separates the data you're pulling in a much more efficient way. So here's what your customer table might look like. You can see we've got Mary again, but now she won't be repeated into several different rows. Any change to her address, contact info, or even name can be updated in this one consolidated place. The product table would have all your cat accessory inventory. As you add or remove items, this would be the one place where you'd make those changes, and orders would keep track of every single sale you make. Now these tables, although separate, have connections to one another, and it's these connections that form the database. Let's dive in and take a closer look to see what these interactions look like. We'll start in the customer table. Let's say someone goes to our online store and makes a purchase. It's a guy named Ronald, and he's in the market for a cat costume and buys one from our store. When he checked out, he entered all his contact info, and we've recorded it in this customer table and assigned him a customer ID. Let's move over to the product table. This lists all our inventory, and here's the cat costume he wanted. We keep track of it with a few fields here, like product ID, quantity in stock, and product type. And then when Ronald actually ordered the cat costume, we record that specific purchase information in the order table. Here you can see we pulled in the customer ID from the customer table, so we know it's Ronald. We also pulled in the product ID from the product table, so we know that he purchased this cat costume. And there's other data in here that tells us about the date of the sale, shipping address, quantity, etc. It's pretty obvious that this system we're using now is far more organized than our single spreadsheet from earlier. Not to mention, it's far more robust in handling large amounts of data and information.